everyone, my name is Elisa and welcome to my channel, All You Can Eat with Elisa. So I'm really excited today because I have a special guest that's going to be popping by. She's actually a friend of mine who also lives down the street, so she's my neighbor too. But she's going to be coming over to show me how to make her apple cider donut recipe. So she keeps on posting it on her Instagram page. I just thought I got to take advantage of this, invite her over, and she's going to show me how it's done. Before she gets here, I actually had an opportunity to take a stroll over to the Lincoln Square area because they had a farmer's market. It was specifically around Apple Fest because obviously being in the Midwest, it's apple season right now. So it was perfect timing for me to go over and score an orchard fresh half-gallon bottle of apple cider. Before Joy gets here, check it out. Alright guys, and welcome back. Voila! She magically appeared out of nowhere. This is Joy. She's my friend. She's my neighbor. We actually used to work together too. We became good friends because we both realized how obsessed we were with food.
Yes.
So, and here we are. Our friendship is still there and it's all around food. It's always
Based
around
mostly
food.
around food, yes.
Yes. So it's apple season and Joy has been posting these apple cider donuts on her Instagram page, which
So yummy.
again, I drool every time she's been doing that. That's why I was like, you need to come here. You need to show me how to make these because they look amazing.
Yes, I love apple cider donuts. We usually go every fall to an apple orchard, my family and I do, and the best part is always the donuts. I love them. They're so delicious, warm, fresh, out of the oven. And so this year I probably won't make it there, so I thought I need to make the best part of the whole trip, which is the donuts.
Tell us, where are we starting?
Okay, so first of all, the first thing you have to do is reduce your apple cider.
Okay.
So you want to put 1.5 cups of apple cider into a pot on your stove and then just boil it down until it gets to be about 1/2 cup. This is going to make your flavor super concentrated, and so you're going to get more of an apple flavor into your donuts. And you can't obviously use 1.5 cups. It'd make your batter too watery.
Perfect. So I got 1.5 cups here.
Yep,
I will
and you're
start
gonna
that
put
on
that
the
in
stove.
Reduce it down. So it goes from 1.5 cups to about 1/2 cup. And then you're going to, after it's done, you want to let it cool. So this is something you can do the day before, the morning of, and then go do some other errands and then do it, and then make your donuts later. Just keep it in the refrigerator. But you want it to be cool before you put it into your batter.
Perfect.
Okay,
So I've got that.
Get that started,
Going away,
or
yep.
do it earlier or the day before.
Hopefully we won't burn that.
And then you do want to stir it every so often on the stove.
Okay.
And then you
Keep an eye on
go on to your dry ingredients, which is 2 cups of flour, just all-purpose flour. And then you're going to add a teaspoon of baking soda. You're going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. And then you're going to do a teaspoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of apple pie spice. And if you can't find apple pie spice, which neither one of us could,
I couldn't find it for the life of me. She told me, I was like, I'm going to set up your ingredients for you. Tell me what I need. Apple pie spice, going all over the place. Couldn't find it. So
sometimes you can find it online, but it's maybe harder to find in a regular grocery store. But you can make your own, which it's 4 parts cinnamon, 2 parts nutmeg, and 1 part cardamom. Or you can kind of do that to your own taste. Whether I personally thought it was a little too cardamom-y, if that's a word.
Cardamom. Cardamom, that's okay. She mispronounces everything. It's all good.
So yeah, you're always here to help me out. She likes it.
I like that.
It was really
that
good.
fragrance.
So we're just keeping it regular.
4-2-1.
Yeah, 4-2-1 or whatever you want. Or you can try to buy it yourself at the store. Or if you have pumpkin pie spice, that's what I used the first time I made these, and they turned out very delicious. It's somewhat similar of spices, some slightly different things. So it's just kind of a personal preference or whatever you have. So anyway, we're gonna put that in. Teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of apple pie spice. Okay. And then you can put in 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I like to add just a touch more, so I did the 1/2 teaspoon.
Love that.
And then you're gonna mix this up. So you just wanna whisk this together. Make sure everything is mixed together
I can already smell the
nicely.
spices.
Yeah, it smells really good already. And then what I like to do is I just like to always, with my dry ingredients, I just like to make a little well, a little center. This
Oh,
just
perfect.
helps you mix it without over mixing it, because if you over mix anything like muffins or donuts, it'll make them tough. And
That looks way better because I always try to do it with like I'll do
always
one
do
of
this
these.
little
I'll take
trick.
the back of mine and it never looks as nice as this.
What I usually do is actually I use the cup. So the measuring cup that I've used to measure the flour, I take that and just make a well in the center. But you can do that however you want.
Great.
Okay, so now you have your dry ingredients. You're going to set those aside. You're going to move on to your wet ingredients, which is, this is 2 tablespoons of melted butter. You're going to add that to the bowl. You're going to add 1 egg, and you want to make sure that your egg and your milk are room temperature before you get started. So you can set those out. If you're doing like your apple cider, reducing that down, you could set them out at that time. So then you're going to add your egg, that's room temperature. You're going to add a 1/2 cup of packed or lightly packed brown sugar. It can be light or dark, it doesn't really matter. And then you're going to add also another 1/2 cup of just regular sugar. And a teaspoon, I like to go heavy on the vanilla, so this is more like a teaspoon and a half of good vanilla, the good vanilla extract.
Good kind.
The good vanilla extract. And then a 1/2 cup of the room temperature milk. I always cook with whole milk. I think it makes a big difference to use whole milk instead of using skim. If you don't have whole milk, you have half and half. You could mix like part half and half and part skim milk.
Now, do you think, because I usually have, my favorite type of milk is oat milk.
Yeah, you could use that.
Okay.
So sometimes when I'm trying to be healthy, I wouldn't use like the sugar. I'd reduce the sugar and use, you know, a sugar substitute. I'd also, you could use almond milk or like oat milk or something.
Perfect.
It's not gonna, I think, have a rich and nice flavor as regular whole milk.
Actually,
because it's
oat
so
milk
much
is thicker,
lighter.
though. I think it'll be better than almond milk. 'Cause almond milk tends to be
almond
thinner,
milk's very
right?
thin. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I sometimes, it just depends on how healthy or dairy free you want to be or whatever. There's definitely some
I need to check on this
substitutions you can
apple
do to
cider.
make it a little healthier. So I'm mixing up these wet ingredients. Again, you want to get this really mixed up really well before you add it into your dry ingredients. Once it's all mixed up like this, you're going to pour it in here. And so it's in the well of the dry ingredients. And then you're going to mix this up together.
Okay, so you're just using a spatula. You don't even need to whisk it together?
So I always think it gets really thick, so I think it makes it easier. It almost makes you over mix it, in my opinion, to use that whisk. I just like to use this and get it almost entirely mixed up.
Okay.
You want to make sure the bottom, there's no flour, because obviously you don't want big chunks of flour in your donuts. But you're also going to mix in that reduced apple cider. So you don't have to completely mix it up. Again, you don't want to over mix anything.
So the apple cider, we can put this in now as soon as it's done?
As soon as it's done and cooled. So it takes about 20 minutes to reduce it, and then it takes another about 20 minutes to let it cool. Of course, you can speed up the process by putting that in the refrigerator or freezer.
Okay, so I'm going to go check on the apple cider.
Okay. Well, okay, so this is pretty much mixed up. Yeah, just make sure all your flour. And then we'll get the rest of it mixed up once we get the apple cider. 1/2 cup of reduced apple cider.
apple cider.
That goes in here.
Okay. Ooh, it's a little
Yes,
thicker.
so it's really thick. It's a lot thicker than how it started.
Love it.
It's not drinkable anymore, probably. And then you're going to mix this up together. So your batter's pretty thick now. Again, you want to try to not over mix it, so just get it incorporated, but don't over mix it. But once it's incorporated and you have a nice thick batter, you will be done. Okay, so it smells really good. You can smell the apple cider in there, which is what they're called. So you want to have that nice taste. And then you can put them in your donut molds.
I got a 3-pack from Amazon, and I had already pre-greased these.
And if you don't have donut pans, you can use mini or regular muffin pans and make like a little kind of muffin donut thing.
How are we going to get that in here now?
So I like to use just a little small cookie scoop, and I'm able to just scoop it around without making too much of a mess. If you don't have that, you can use a Ziploc bag, just trim the end or the corner of it and pipe it in, or use a piping bag.
And of course, I have a piping bag. This smells good already. I'm excited.
Yeah, and then your oven gets
We want to preheat that to what temperature?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I forgot that. We need to preheat the oven before you start at 350.
350 Fahrenheit.
And
Perfect.
then you want to grease these pretty well so that you can make sure they come out easily.
Now, do you find in your, so you said you had silicone ones and you had the metal kind?
Yes.
Do you have a preference between the two? Like,
I like the silicone. I thought they were easier to come out. They are a little more wobbly in the oven, you know. The tin, the metal is easier to get in and out.
all right.
Until you get them all done.
But this looks good. So actually this piping thing is pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice and thick, but this is working out great.
Yeah.
The consistency, and it's nice and clean. Yeah, so it should make about 2 dozen regular sized donuts. Or I'm sorry, not 2 dozen, 1 dozen donuts.
Now, are these going to puff up a lot?
Yes, not a lot, but
okay.
it'll puff up a little bit over the edge, not too far off the edge.
I don't know if I'm filling mine up a lot, but I feel like I'm running out of baking.
Okay, then yeah, we might. You know what? We'll probably only.
We
yeah,
might
looks
only
like-
need 2 pans.
I think so, because you could even put a little bit more in that one.
Okay.
Just make sure you get the refrigerated good apple cider. Don't get the stuff that's in the non-refrigerated section by the apple juice that comes in those plastic jugs.
Okay. All right. In the oven for how long?
So 10 to 11 minutes.
Okay.
Unless your oven is like mine and doesn't run super hot, I do mine for 12 minutes.
Perfect.
So you want to check them. You can start checking them at the 10-minute mark. You want to touch it. If it springs back, it's done. If it doesn't, leave it in for another minute or 2
Okay, perfect.
until they're done. They should look puffed up.
And voila.
Yes. This is what they should look like when they're done. So yeah, you just
Finished
touch them.
product.
Touch them and they puff up.
Okay, wait.
They're done and they're cooled magically. The magic of TV.
We got the donuts out of the oven. They've been cooled down, right?
Yes.
So do you want them like cool, completely cool, or like how cool before
They need to be
next-
pretty cool. So
Okay.
leave them in their molds for a couple minutes, and then you can take them out and let them cool a little bit longer. You want to obviously be able to handle them and not absorb too much of the butter.
Okay, so these have been completely cooled.
Yeah, these are pretty cool.
Yep. All right.
And then you're going to melt about 6 tablespoons of butter to dip them in. And then for your topping, you're going to use a cup of sugar. You can use any regular sugar. And then 3/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon and 3/4 of a teaspoon of the apple pie spice again. And this is just going to be your coating for the top. Technically, you could just eat them like that if you want to be healthier. But as my kids say, they are better with the sugar. Shockingly, they
I'm
are
sure
better.
these are delicious also.
Yeah,
on
they
their
actually
own.
are good. They just taste, yeah, they do taste healthier. This is better to have it with a little bit of butter and a little bit of sugar. So yeah, you want to mix this up. And then you're going to dip them. Now, I like to do it very, very lightly. Otherwise, it tastes too soaked with butter.
Okay.
So I like to take it and just try to get it, and then even shake it off or scrape it off the edge.
Do you do both sides?
Yes, I want to do both sides. And this really helps. Yeah, so I missed that spot. I'm going to do that again. This really helps with keeping the sugar on it, though. It does that part. So if you want to actually do that part, that would be great.
Okay, sure. I'll try to
So yeah, and then just
make
scrape
sure I
off
don't
the-
dip too much butter.
Yeah, scrape off a little bit. Otherwise, it becomes a little too soaked
Okay,
with butter.
I'm gonna go this way so
But the
then you
buttery
can put this
taste
back
is
here.
nice. Okay, and then you're gonna just dip them both sides. You want to get the edges with sugar, and then you have your finished product right there. I'll move this one.
I can't wait for the last part. Okay, the moment has come. My favorite part of the
hope you like them.
episode. I'm gonna take this one up here. Well, you gotta have one too. with
Okay.
me. Can't have
Okay.
me eat alone.
I will.
Okay, let's do this.
So they're, nice and
Ooh.
soft inside.
Yes, they are very soft.
Cakey.
Mmm. Mmm.
A little buttery.
That's excellent. Okay. Oh, it's really good.
You can really taste the cardamom.
Oh, it's really good. Mmm.
Healthy, delicious.
It's soft. You get that bouncy, spongy texture to that. I can definitely get the floral notes from the cardamom. Love that. I love it. This would be really good. You know,
With coffee?
Yes. I need
So
a cup of
good
coffee with this.
This would be really good with coffee, yeah.
And this is definitely going down in my book, so you'll be seeing my posts too. This is really good, guys. I have to take another bite. Hold on.
Another bite as I'm like, I'm almost done.
I know. It's so good.
They are good. I love these donuts.
I'm getting a little like hints of just tiny little salt,
Oh, yeah.
but it kind of balances the sweetness.
But see, I doubled the salt. You can't even tell. And I used salted butter. You can't even tell.
Salted butter is the way to go, you guys. Extra flavor. Salted butter is not that salty when you think about it. So
it brings out the flavor. Even in bakery, sweet foods, I feel like salt brings out the flavor.
See, and this is why we're good friends. So thanks so much for stopping by, showing me this recipe. I'm definitely going to be making this again. Also, if you like Joy's donuts, you tend to make a lot of good, fun kid stuff too.
I try.
We are going to put this recipe in the description below so you can check it out. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.